Welcome back, grade 9, to another close reading together. This time we are going to take a look at an encyclopedia page, and we are going to explore this to see what we can find. So before we jump into the encyclopedia page, grade 9, I want you to take a look at our purposes for reading here on the Canvas page. So number 1, we are going to find examples of writing to inform and explain to deepen our understanding. I will make note of information I find interesting, and I will ask questions when I'm unsure of an explanation. So I am not going to highlight, inform, and explain in this one with green and pink, as you will in the close reading individually. The next assignment here that you're going to do on your own, I'm going to let you do that by yourself this time. But I will introduce you to what this type of writing looks like. Number 2, we're going to explore a real-world application for this type of writing. I will be an active reader, reading to learn, so I'm not just going to read the words, I'm actually going to try to learn about the topic of the writing, okay, which you can see here is Saskatchewan. And finally, I will learn about the audience for this type of writing, by being the audience of this type of writing. So we're going to jump into this close reading together. I'm going to open up this link right here. It is the Britannica Encyclopedia page for Saskatchewan. So if you click that link there, grade 9, this is what you will see. Now, I notice a lot of things, okay? This is different than another piece of writing that we normally would come across, all right? I see a lot going on this page, okay? So if you're somebody who struggles with distractions when you read, you might notice right away that reading on a web page can be full of distractions. Okay, so you can always, before you even begin, you can hit the print button. This is a nice little hack. Hit the print button. On this specific website, it's asking me what I would like to print. I'm going to select everything. Okay, there are different sections of this web page, and we'll look at that in a second. But very first, I want to show you how to access it without any ads all over it if you need that. Okay, so the very first thing you could do, grade 9, is you could print this page, and you can notice that. Sure, it comes up a little bit messed up there formatting wise, but we have text and we have images. Okay, so we can also hit cancel here, and it's going to leave up. Do you see how different this web page looks? It's a print preview. So it's basically all of the text, image, and everything else information wise from that page without the ads. But for this specific video, I am going to show it to you on the web page with the ads so we can practice ignoring distractions. So right at the top here we have our heading, Saskatchewan, Province, Canada. So on an encyclopedia page or in an encyclopedia, grade 9, you are going to find a page of information about anything, any word. I mean, not every single word for a lot of reasons, but most words you can find in an encyclopedia. And they will explain the concept, the place, the person, the thing behind that word. Okay, so it's almost like a dictionary of things, or concepts, or ideas. So Britannica is an encyclopedia. There are other versions of encyclopedias. So this is going to be biased, which means it's going to have this company, this organization's kind of imprint on it. This is from the UK, so we'll notice that too. It says who it was written by. Marilyn Lurie, instructor of geography at the University of Regina, so locally written, locally moderated. Now, the purpose of reading an encyclopedia is to learn and remember. We are making note of things that are worded in a cool way and also asking questions of things we don't understand. So let's start reading this page, and then we'll start to see what we notice about it. Saskatchewan, province of Canada, one of the prairie provinces. Right away, I am noticing that sentence is just speaking about the province. It's giving information, right? That sentence is 100% information. Saskatchewan, province of Canada, one of the prairie provinces. That's it. That is 100% inform. There's no feeling in there, there's no emotion, there's no secret, there's no mystery. Okay, Saskatchewan, province of Canada, and one of the prairie provinces. Now you'll notice as well, grade 9, that these words are linked. Okay, so if we click on Canada, it's going to take us to the encyclopedia page for Canada. Okay, so we're not going to go into there quite yet, but you'll notice all through here that these are all concepts that are going to be defined on their own encyclopedia page. It is one of only 2 Canadian provinces without a saltwater coast, and it is the only province whose boundaries are wholly artificial, i.e. not formed by natural features. Very interesting. This is grade 9, an example of inform blending into explain. So it, Saskatchewan, and notice that they didn't say Saskatchewan again because they started the sentence before it with Saskatchewan. It is one of only 2 Canadian provinces without a saltwater coast, okay? And it is the only province whose boundaries are wholly artificial, entirely artificial, made up. So those are 2 pieces of information, but then i.e. means, for example, right, or an example of. Now, i.e., it is not formed. The boundary is not formed by natural features. That is an explanation. So that is adding explanation of what wholly artificial means to those readers who may not understand, because this is for a wide variety of readers, right? Let's carry on. It lies between the 49th and 60th parallels of latitude. And again, if I wanted to learn more about parallels for latitude, I could open that up in a separate page and read all about that. But today we're learning about Saskatchewan. It is bounded on the west by longitude 110 degrees west of Greenwich, and its eastern limit, with minor adjustments, is longitude 102 west. Its southern half is largely an extension of the Great Plains of central North America, rarely rising 2,000 feet above sea level. Very cool. So still talking about Saskatchewan being part of the flat Great Plains of central North America. Lots of good information in here, right? Rarely rising 2,000 feet, 610 meters above sea level. This is showing that the audience is for Americans, Canadians, British, anyone. We're saying the measurement in feet and meters. So we're using indicators that anyone could understand, a wide variety of an audience could understand. Okay, not anyone, because we're still using English words. We're still using, our audience is still specific. It isn't open to absolutely everybody. Okay. Saskatchewan measures 760 miles or 1,223 kilometers from south to north. That's so far. 1,223 kilometers from south to north. No idea. Tapering from a width of 393 miles, where it abuts Montana and North Dakota in the United States, to 277 miles where it meets the Northwest Territories. Now, this is a great way of saying that Saskatchewan is wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Now, if you look at a map of Saskatchewan, that becomes clear, right? The bottom of the province is wider than the top. But look at how they've worded this, because that's a hard concept to explain to people. It measures, now we'll use the kilometers because we are in Canada. It measures 1,223 kilometers from south to north. So from bottom to top, tapering, narrowing from a width of 632 kilometers where it comes up against Montana and North Dakota in the United States, to 446 kilometers, so we lose almost 200 kilometers in width at the very top where it meets the Northwest Territories. Great way of explaining that. I feel informed by that explanation of the numbers. Do you see how it all works together? One other thing I want to note here, grade 9, oops, I've clicked on a link by accident, is that they use the term abuts instead of saying where it adjoins Montana and North Dakota or meets Montana and North Dakota. This writer has used the word where it abuts Montana and North Dakota. Now again, we're on a computer, so super easy to just copy that word and paste it into a Google search and define that word if we need to. To be next to or to have a common boundary with. So gardens abutting Prescott Street, or masonry may crumble, brickwork may crumble where a roof abuts it. So we can double check our understanding of that word. The author has used it correctly, and I'm pointing that out because we are noticing when writers put things in a unique way. I am learning about Saskatchewan, okay? I am learning things that I'm solidifying learning. For example, with the fact that the southern half of Saskatchewan is largely an extension of the Great Plains of central North America. I knew this. I knew this mostly from my learning, but also from some traveling, from driving across a lot of these Great Plains states and provinces. Okay. Oh, I love this here. Saskatchewan is Canada's 5th largest province in area and 6th in population. Saskatchewan's landscape makes its inhabitants conscious of the sky and the changing patterns of light and shadow on clouds, which commonly offer magnificent sunrises, and sunsets are as much a part of the scenery as any contour of the earth. That is such a stunningly written sentence. She uses the words inhabitants, conscious, magnificent, and contour in an informational piece, right? I love that. Great. So I hope you've enjoyed. Also, before we get out of here, there are other text features and image features as well. So, for example, you can take a look at this map, and we can see that, there are cities and towns on the map. There are cities and towns missing from the map. So we could dive into why that may be. That Saskatoon, Martensville, Warman, and Humboldt are on the map, but I don't see Delisle, Vanscoy, Clavet, etc. Okay. Again, flag of Saskatchewan. So visuals that we can see and click on, but that we might also need to filter, like this one down here. We might need to filter some of the things that aren't necessarily relevant to this page. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this encyclopedia exploration together. Carry on in this page about Saskatchewan. Find a section that we haven't read yet. So, for example, land, drainage, soils, climate. We can go all the way down to people, settling of the prairies. Do keep in mind that this is a British text, and that brings with it its own bias, right? You might not agree with the definition of everything in here, and this might be more for a British audience. Okay, so it might say some things about, for example, settlement and First Nations and Métis, rights to this land before. For example, let me show you where this British worldview comes in, if I can find it. But it did say something along the line. Where are we at? It says, the population has changed markedly during this area's history. It was originally exclusively American Indian. Okay, so this is for an American audience almost exclusively. We can tell that now because exclusively American Indian, and then in brackets it says First Nations, right? In Canada, we would say it was originally exclusively Indigenous or First Nations. We wouldn't say American Indian in Canada, right? But this is the part where I can really tell this is a British text, okay? It was originally exclusively First Nations, to which French and British elements were added during the early 18th and 19th centuries. I don't know if saying that French and British elements were added to our country is maybe the most accurate way of describing colonization and the settlement that occurred. We know that a lot of that happened forcefully. We know that it was a forceful process, the process of colonization, and we know that it was troublesome, and we know that it caused a lot of damage today. Okay, is that addressed in the sentence to which French and British elements were added during the 18th and 19th centuries? I think that's pretty mildly stating that this land was seized really by French and British people. So, and it really leaves out what happened to the people who were here originally. Okay, so be wary of that, grade 9, as you do read through, but choose a little section, settlement patterns, or origins of the economy of Saskatchewan. Just read one of these small achievable sections here, okay, trying to know what is information, what is explanation, and one unique way of putting things. Already I can see in this sentence, because of its dependence on external markets, comma, Saskatchewan's economy has. Just a neat way of wording a sentence there that you could talk about. So much in here, grade 9. Enjoy and dive in, explore, and enjoy. And then the very next page is going to be your turn to do this 4 marks. Thank you so much for coming along with me. Take care.